But winter's coming. We know what comes with it. We can't face it alone. So my school has this thing called winter term, which is for the month of January, you're able to do literally whatever project that you want to do. For people who are extremely indecisive, like myself, it kind of makes you question everything you've done up to this point. I chose sewing because I've never done that before, and it seemed a little bit less I decided I wanted to give myself a loose guideline of what I wanted to do because I have no idea whether I'd be good at sewing or not, which I'll give you a little hint. I'm not good at it. There's only so many times you can redo the same exact thing without losing your mind, and I think I'm not there yet, so I'm gonna continue with the video. So I have 4 things that I said I wanted to do in the project. One was make a mask from scratch using like a sewing pattern, repair this pair of jeans I have, which I think it's not gonna happen because I realized they're not really worth saving. You know when you have a pair of jeans that is just like, when you wore them you felt the most yourself out of any other article of clothing that you have, and you just won't ever be able to replace that feeling? No? Well, anyway. So yeah, they're kind of like worn down and I think they're dead. So I might just, like, I could make like a denim bucket hat. I wanted to tailor this shirt that I thrifted a while ago. I started and I butchered it so bad. I think I have to crop it shorter at this point. The smallest amount of things that I try to adjust, the better. The last thing I wanted to do was live out my, what's the time period where they wore corsets. I really should read a textbook sometime. Anyway, whatever time period they wore corsets, I wanted to make a corset really bad. I guess it wouldn't even be a corset, I just wanted the boning part. Look at this. Okay, just look at this. This is amazing. Like, imagine a corset out of this. I just want to be able to make my own clothes. That's all I want in life.
And here we have the jeans in question. The amount of love I possess for an item of clothing can be measured inversely to the restraint from breaking into dance demonstrated. As you can see, not a lot of restraint demonstrated here. In fact, I might not be cutting them up. I don't want to anymore. There is, however, a little issue I will need to fix. After realizing I don't have the strength to say goodbye to my jeans, I decided embroidering them would give them a little more pizzazz. I've never used that word before, it felt very wrong. I found this picture online and I decided I'd try to recreate it, but with embroidery instead of fabric paint. When I tell you I was overly ambitious on this project, I was wow, what did I do to myself? I had to undo this navy blue one after spending like 3 hours on it because it looked ugly as sin, and I decided I wanted to go for a universal pattern in the thread, which I didn't initially know I was going to do. Enjoy watching me struggle and regret all of my decisions. And we break here for some sewing ASMR. I was also very worried that I'd have to go back out and get new thread, and I literally don't know if I could find these colors. Like, I have a Michaels that's like really far from me and it doesn't have that great of a selection, and I just was like, what if there's not enough? You can see my work gets a little bit sloppy towards the end because I'm just trying to spread out the thread as much as possible in order to make it cover everything. I came so close with some of these, I don't even want to talk about it. The next time you see these, they'll be in the reveal at the end. And here we have item number 2. An oversized polo I found in the men's section of my local thrift store. And here is the crime I committed with my scissors. After hemming this 3 times, I will be undoing it, and here is where I want to be cropping it next. Technically, I didn't need to do any of the seam picking if I was just going to go and cut it, but I think at this point I just wanted to see the general shape of what I was working with. Luckily, I had lines for guidance for where to cut, so that, wait a sec. All I was thinking at this point was that this was going far better than my first attempt at making oat milk.
even good. Why would you do this to me? Also, I'm growing some celery, but why?
After cropping it possibly too high, I went ahead and cut off the sleeves so I could reattach them to a thinner frame. I don't know the word. Yeah, what my hand is doing, I'm sewing it. I'm sewing it like that. I was feeling gutsy, so I trimmed the material before sewing it, which is kind of a baller move if I'm gonna say so myself. And here she is, naked and afraid, inside out, and all pinned up. Wow, I'm sorry, that sounded really dark. I pinned it, and I'm gonna sew it. This clip's funny to me because I realized I was out of thread, so literally this is me doing nothing and thinking I was about to finish. Because the shirt was taken in on the sides, the biggest struggle was trying to reattach the sleeves with a smaller hole. So turning them inside out, I had to try a few different times while going in and trimming it to make sure that they line up properly and it wouldn't look awkward. We did it, guys. We've made it to the big leagues. We are using a pattern and sewing from scratch. Here, I took this pattern from Withwendy. She offered it for free on her website, and it's awesome. I sketched out where I wanted to put the seam and maneuvered the mask around until I figured out where to start. I ended up by starting with each layer separately and sewed that middle seam that you can see in the dead center of the mask, just like that. And we break once more for some sewing ASMR. I went around the top and the bottom of the mask, flipped it inside out, and added the elastic. This is the top I decided to use for what I said was going to be a corset. I made a pattern in the paper behind it based on the different pieces of the top. I got very excited while making this, so I didn't film as much as I wish I had, but this is the inner lining using all of the pattern pieces that I sewed together. Here is a little bit of me preventing fraying of the fabric. I actually ended up using clear nail polish on some of them because I left so little seam allowance so that zigzag stitching over those pieces was nearly impossible. I decided that zigzag stitching before I sewed the pieces together would actually be a lot better use of time than trying to haphazardly stitch them afterwards and potentially mess up something that I've already done. It ended up looking very clean and it helped guide my sewing process because I had the zigzag stitch to kind of let me know where I should pin and what lines I should be sewing on. I'm sad to say this is actually the last clip I took of making this top. I also made straps and I attached a zipper, but I didn't record, so I'm so sorry. I hope that I can do something like this again and I'll show what I actually did.
Thank you so much for watching. I had a ridiculous amount of fun on this video, so much fun it should have been illegal. I'm definitely doing this again. I hope you guys liked this video because too bad, I'm doing it again. Drop a like and we're best friends. that's the rules. Oh, maybe you guys want to see one of my new plants. I was gifted this new aloe baby. Bye guys.